to the Preach Gaming Studios. My God, look at all these wonderful people. There's so many new faces today catching us for the first time live. Hello to you. Hello to you wonderful people. I hope you are all feeling good. I'm feeling great. I am feeling really good. I had a fucking hilarious stream with you guys this morning. I had a blast with it. Got a load of work done. And I went for a run. And now I'm here to do another show. Tip top, mate. Tip top. Absolute tippity top. But first, I know it's Friday. I know we like to put our feet up like gentle sirs or gentle madams. But we must raise our drinks. An F for Mike Morhaime. Because he was just like us. He was a supreme nerd. And for that we salute you, Mike. We salute your nervous speeches at every BlizzCon. Shaking like a leaf. Where Metzen was trying to do it. He had the wiggly arm. But you were genuinely nervous. The CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. And nervous as fuck talking to a crowd. So Mike, we salute you, sir. And the guidance of J. Allen Brack. You think you do, but you don't. I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure things are going to be just okay. To Mike. And those big shirts he clearly did not want to wear. To Mike. My God, when I saw who had been promoted, I could not wait for the WoW community's response. I could not wait. I was like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's a big oof. It'll be fine. It's too late now. It's underway. Hell, that man paid his dues. You can meme him all he want, but he paid his dues. He was the man who came out on stage and announced Classic. He did the whole ice cream bit. He did his part. He did his part. So don't you worry about it. He played the game. He did what he needed to do. And that's good. All right? That's all right. So a big F to Mike. And of course, for us raiders out there, us super nerds, raid testing for the next raid begins on Monday. Mother of God, it's going fast. It feels like Legion, man, where it just keeps going and going and going. And there's no pause. There's no stopping. This train is on its way to Hogwarts, whether you like it or not. Dementors be damned, sir. We're raid testing already. We're getting ready to head into our capital city, our Horde capital city, where we're going to have scuffs, fisticuffs. Yeah? Fisticuffs in a new style of raid where the Alliance will get 6 bosses. The Horde will get 6 bosses. There'll be different bosses. And then you get the extra bosses at the end. It's going to be an interesting style of raid. I hope it works out well. Will one side have it easier than the other? Because that'll go down well. I'm sure that'll go down absolutely fine. No one will have any complaints whatsoever. It's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. We know where Azerite Armor's going. We've got some ideas. We've got some data mining of some traits that we can kind of give a shit about. Hey, thank you. But beware, ladies and gentlemen. Beware, everybody listening right now. They're going to nerf the generic traits. They're going to nerf them. Shh, they're going to nerf them. They're going to fix them. They're going to fix them so they're not as... They're going to nerf them. They're going to nerf the shit out of them. It's going to come down like a fucking hammer. It's going to be like Thor just landed in that fucking Avengers movie where he turns up and smashed all those aliens, dude. Thunderous Blast! Piss off! Piss off, Thunderous Blast! Dagger in the Dark! Piss off, dude! Piss off! Get out! It's all going to get wrecked. So you better get used to your class-specific ones because they're coming for it. They're going to fix them. It's not a nerf. They're going to nerf the shit out of them. Be gone! Be gone! Be gone! Yes, bring me my Azerite traits I can care about. 2 choices. Hopefully not just AoE and single target. But finally, something we can actually give a toss about. And maybe, look forward to. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Items we can look forward to. Creative. Groundbreaking. Something we could look forward to. So we'll be keeping our peepers open. We'll be keeping our eyes... Eye on the prize, boys. Eye on the prize as to what's going to turn up on that PTR over the next couple of weeks, month or so. It should be interesting. I'll be interested. Everybody happy with theirs? We got Hell Chains. I like the idea of Hell Chains. Sounds cool, dude. Sounds cool. I'm into it. I like the idea of it. Hell Chains for the old Death Knights. Unholy, though. Feels bad. So let's see what we get there. Anyway, I need my chat, my live chat right here, right now. I've got a dog hair on me. Look at it. My dog's sad. I've got a sad dog, boys. He's sad. I think it's too hot for him. Emma's got the heat on. I think it's too hot for him. Either way, though. I need you guys to be on best behavior. I need you guys to be on best behavior. I really do. Because, as can happen with a show that has a reasonably large reach like this one does, thank you to you all, sometimes we get a drama story, but the people the drama story is about, who in the story are made out to be complete dickbags, are also viewers of the show. And they recognize that this drama story is about them. And they reply. So you might be looking at the screen down below and you might be saying, Mike, those are the names from last week, right? Those are the names from last week. You're right. Because none other than Pain Lover X has written to me. And his good name of Pain Lover X was besmirched. Besmirched. Last week, he was besmirched. His good name was dragged through the mud. And if you weren't here last week, don't worry, I'll bring you up to speed. Pain Lover X joined a guild with a pretty crappy name, all truth be told, and then became the guild master rather quickly and merged his guild with another guild, and he brought in some of his friends. Our author took a couple of days away, and when he came back, the guild was destroyed. And then according to last week's author, Pain Lover X then began to whisper and poach members of the old guild, spamming them, including Trials, to join his guild, which didn't seem to get anywhere. And he was laughed at. He was mocked. We had screenshot evidence of these whispers. That's right. We had screenshots of these whispers. But were they taken out of context? Were they twisted? Were they changed to fit the author's narrative? Now, I know what you're thinking. In 2018, nobody would ever take things out of context. Nobody would twist things to meet their narrative. We've grown beyond that as a human race. We are so far beyond that. We don't click random headlines and then assume the entire story. Because we've enlightened ourselves. We've become bigger than that. We've become heroes, right? That's what we are. We're an educated species. That's what we are. We read the articles. Read the article. Read the article. That's about the most prolific demonstration I think we could make these days is read the truth. Read the truth. Don't trust the headline. Don't trust the headline. Read a little tiny bit more. Maybe even the top paragraph. Something like that. Okay. So Pain Lover X has replied to us. And he demands justice. He demands retribution. And he wishes the audience here. Now, we have to remember something, don't we? Pain Lover X could have also twisted the narrative to meet his needs. And we could be playing double blind, double cross. Yeah? Russia, America, Cuba. Think about it, right? That's where we might be. Are you ready? Pain Lover X as judges. Anyway, Mr. Mike, the man who wrote to you is the author of last week, a mage. He was a trial in the first guild before we merged into theirs. So, we have a little alteration from the start. In our first story, the guild we were discussing was looking for members, which Pain Lover X joined, and then a merge began. And then later, Pain Lover X left, and what we were told is started his own guild. This is inaccurate. Pain Lover X's guild already existed. That's right. That's right. Pain Lover X already had a team of about 12 people when he was recruiting for his guild pre-merger. He had his guild and he was trying to build it up. I came up with the idea of connecting with some of the guys in Trade Chat who were recently formed. So in Trade Chat, we have all these guilds that are just starting up because Billy has managed to raise his 10 gold to buy a guild charter, right? Will you sign my guild charter? Everybody join my guild. We're a PvP, PvE, casual, hardcore, RPG, arena guild with leveling, you know? With some of the trade guys who were recently formed and recruiting to inquire about a possible merger, as I thought maybe the recruiting route would take too long before BFA released. So we're in Legion. We're trying to get a guild ready for BFA. That's what we're trying to do. So I spoke to some people with whom things didn't pan out until I finally spoke with Popescu. Popescu was the officer alongside their GM Adonis in the guild. I can't remember what we called the main guild. Pick a guild name. And this is the main guild where it all went wrong. I will admit to you now, Mike and stream, I did not like the name of that guild. But it was Come On a Chest. Yes, Come On a Chest. Come On a Chest. Well remembered, stream. Well remembered. I did not like... No, it wasn't. They wanted to change the name to Come On a Chest. And that's when he said it was immature. Okay, we'll go with Any Mungry. We'll do Any Mungry. Hate you, Clock, so much. That's a little inside, I know. Okay. But I didn't care. I did not like the name Any Mungry, but I didn't care. As the author mentioned, names don't down bosses. Can confirm, my guild name is awful. Just the worst. Just the absolute worst. Really bad. But they don't kill bosses. Guild names don't down bosses. I was willing to compromise with them. We're going to compromise. I told them during our Discord conversation regarding the merger, a convo with Adonis and Popescu and myself were the only members, that all we wanted from this merger was to use our Discord and for me to be the guild master. I enjoy being guild master. I do project management and IT, IRL, and it's one of the things that I find fun in this game. I let them know I was willing to do all the structuring, managing of Discord and guild ranks, organizing, etc. Popescu, at the time, I found to be quite reasonable and a very solid and logical guy, expressed that he was okay with this arrangement, so long as they could use their guild and guild name. All right? This is the agreement. This is how this merger will go down. Pain Lover X will join the guild. They will use his Discord server, which he has the administration rights over, but they will keep the current guild name of Any Mungry. Right? And that's the dream. I agree. Popescu agreed. Adonis agrees. Okay, that's the deal. We're going to use his Discord, but we're going to join their guild. Keep in mind, during this conversation, I never, not once, expressed any desire to change the guild name or to take any rights away from the other two officers. As a matter of fact, I told them that I would have the Guildmaster rank for management purposes only. But we'll all be officers. All of us will all be officers. An officer corps consisting of no more, no less than uno dos tres people. I have experienced in the past how some guilds have had unnecessary amounts of officers simply because they were buddies. All right, we've seen that many a time in Drama Time. I didn't want to start off like that. I explained to them my idea for the guild, also explaining my experience with past guilds and what I thought the major weaknesses with the management was. I mentioned that I wanted something fair for the raiders, with an officer corps that was not passive and who would take action to make the guild better when it needed to happen. So we can infer from this that all he's saying is, if someone's a cunt, right, like Jax, we're going to say to Jax, you're a cunt, nobody likes you, get out. Okay? Easy. And not let somebody like Jax poison the guild, which I think is a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Okay. Essentially, progression is more important than any one person. That's how we're going to do it. Progression more important than any one person. Popescu agreed, explaining as well that this was the sort of guild they wanted to build as well. We're all after the same thing. Same goals. Yeah? Same goals. One team. Yeah? One cohesive unit. Popescu mentioned also we should have a community. What does that mean? Which I was not opposed to. But I did add that I wanted it to be a raiding guild first, as that was the entire reason for my proposal for the merger. We're going to add in a social aspect. Popescu agreed. Meanwhile, Adonis the entire time seemed to just be Popescu's yes man, simply going with whatever Popescu agreed to. It was weird to me. He had no opinions, no thoughts. His brain seemed to be mustard, for example. But I didn't think much of it at the time and chalked it up to those two just being on the same page with each other, right? They just agree. Just a coincidence. I left my guild and joined theirs, and after a couple of hours, I was made the guild master. I started the process of moving the guys I had from my guild over to Eni Mungri over the next few days. I then began to recruit, getting a bunch of new recruits in preparation for the coming expansion. So to note here, this is important, no one instantly. Now, this is in capital letters. I want to be clear on this. Instantly. I'm just going to put this here. Notice how it's an interesting word. No one instantly, not like the minute they joined the guild, no one instantly complained about the name. It was not instantaneous. They did not complain about the name. The complaining did happen, though. We're not going to deny that. The complaining did happen, but it happened over a couple of weeks, right? It wasn't like the moment that Man the Lazy joined the guild, he went, wow, this guild name fucking sucks. Fuck all of you. I'm out of here. Change it or go blow your own goats, right? It wasn't like that. There was a period of time before this started. Now, you might remember that our man Painlover X brought with him what were made out in the previous story to be two thug-like characters. Picture them like the rats from Fallout 3. Yeah? Those little thugs in the tunnels. The tunnel rat people. I believe their names were Adjit and Lally. Enter Adjit and Lally. The two guys that Popescu, Adonis, and our author didn't like were Adjit and Lally. Now, Adjit is actually a solid guy. Diplomatic. Even keel. Wants what's best. Lally, though, is not. Lally is not. He's brash. Bold. And he made it a point to jump in one day and start bitching about the guild name. Fucking Lally. Lally was the fire that ignited this keg. Keep in mind, I did speak with Adjit and Lally. Now, I have a question for you, Pain Lover. You claim, and I can have the court read it back to you if you wish, but you claim that Adjit is diplomatic Even keeled, a solid guy. I can read it back in your words if you want. A solid guy. If Adjit's such a solid guy, Painlover X, then why did you have to speak with him? Keep in mind, I did speak with Adjit and Lally about what happened with the guild name. I asked them not to be complete dicks about the whole thing and try to be diplomatic. I even told Adjit if I had to sever ties with him, again, the even-keeled, solid guy. You told me you had to might have to sever ties with him, huh? Okay. I even told Adjit if I had to sever ties with him and his friend, which would be Lally, that I would. During this period, I exclusively communicated with Popescu and Adonis. With Popescu, as Adonis had essentially shut down to any of my input, rejected any sort of solution I came up with to resolve issues. It was becoming clear, ladies and gentlemen, and this will be hard to believe, that this merger was not going to work. I know. It's rare, but it can happen. Sad. It was not going to work if we couldn't handle a few minor issues with another raider. I spoke with Popescu about this and told him I am willing to cut ties with these people, again, Adjit and Lally, if they continued to be a problem. I told both him and Adonis in voice, in Discord, in person, numerous times, that I am not taking any power from them and I am willing to sever ties with the guys who came over with me in order to better our raid team. I just didn't want the drama. That's all. At the time, they didn't seem to either. There was not a single time, not one, count it, not a single time, where I pushed the weight of my GM position on anyone. And I stressed to Popescu and Adonis that I wanted their input on things so we could all work together to make the guild better and fun. Now, if I'm clear, you guys have done like barely anything yet. Like, it's like barely anything happened guild-wise, activity-wise. The last thing I wanted was for people to be in an environment they didn't enjoy, right? Fun needs to be managed appropriately. Do we all agree? Do we all agree? Hell, raiding's kind of stressful. People shout at each other all the time in raids. Tension, right? Builds. We had raised voices last night, including myself. It happens. But you know what? That's what fucking raiding's all about, you pussy. Get in there and fucking shank a monster, will you? Man up! Fucking prison rules when it's in the raid. Prison rules, boys. Let's manage this. So we're going to manage it. The last thing I wanted, again, was for people to be in an environment they didn't enjoy. I had dealt with that numerous times, and I don't want that environment. I don't want it around me. They always acknowledged, nodded their heads. But only Popescu worked with me in any fashion. Adonis always blew off these situations and officer meetings. He was passive-aggressive. Never talking about problems with me in the channel and always conveying the issues only to Popescu. Wouldn't talk to me. Secret whispers, back of the hand. Which is why my communications about Lally and Adjit only went through Popescu. Popescu even admitted in a conversation we had in voice one night that maybe Adonis isn't officer material. And maybe we should eventually make him raider rank and bring in a new officer. I suspect of that since they were friends. They were close. But it was him who said it to me. I did not try to demote Adonis. I did not try to usurp Adonis. It was Popescu after all. His friend, who said we should bring him down. But as you can imagine, eventually the guild name issue, it came back. And again, I told Popescu just to forget about it. It doesn't matter. The name is the name. We don't have to change it. It was their guild name, part of the agreement, part of the compromise. And I was to stand by it. Yes, I admit again, I didn't like it. But I was sticking to my word here. I never once made it into an issue. And I did do everything I could to tell my original guys to just deal with it. And just get ready for battle for Azeroth. But Lally. Can't control him. He's a wild card. He's the Joker in the deck. And there was another outburst. About the guild name. At this point, it was Popescu. Not me. Popescu. Nothing to do with me. Who said, screw it. We should change the guild name. I maintained, I stood the ground and said we don't have to, but he insisted at this point that if we're going to make this work, we must change this guild name. So like some guilds, I put up a poll in the poll channel asking for ideas to what to call the guild. We could take some ideas from our members. Be diplomatic, yeah? Democratic about the whole thing. And the officers in the end could decide on what to change. I was even going to pay myself, my pocket, for the name change. So that Popescu wouldn't have to. Now, don't nice guy me here. Hey, don't you tell me what to do. Just saying. Don't nice guy me here. I was happy it was happening. I didn't like the guild name. But again, I was willing to keep it. I was alright with keeping it. I didn't like it, but whatever. I just didn't want Popescu and Adonis to feel like they were under some tyrannical guild master. Unfortunately, as much effort as I made to keep the officers as equals, coming to them for decisions, getting complete agreement before changes were made, they made snidey remarks. Snidey remarks. Little sly jokes. Jokes about how I was taking over. How I was abusing my position. Something I had not given any indication of. I knew the jokes were jokes, but they carried undertones of seriousness to them. They're joking, but they mean it. It was obvious that they felt this way, or at least Adonis did. Again, Popescu was, and I believe still is to this day, a reasonable guy, for the most part. He was easy to work with and to problem solve with. Definitely solid officer material. 10 out of 10. Would recruit again. BFA arrives. Everything seems to have smoothed over. Seems fine for now. Everybody's happy. Adonis, Popescu and I, utilizing Azeroth Autopilot, start leveling as much as we can with all the early access BFA bugs that plague us. We were some of the first to hit 120 in the guild, and immediately there's a rift. Popescu and Popescu break off into groups with friends of theirs to do Mythic Zeros. Nothing worse than 5-man Mythic clicks in any guild. No problem. They're friends. Of course they're going to play together. There's nothing suspicious about it. Right? It's fine. I don't care. You want to play together? You want to do your same groups? Only you 5? I understand. Right? Okay. But it was clear. There was a rift forming socially. The poll channel is getting hits for guild names. There's a member of the guild, a friend of Popescu and Adonis's. His name is Paulson. Paulson likes the buns. Paulson don't give a shit. And Paulson starts some trolling. Starts with a guild chat. He's spamming guild chat incessantly with variations of recruiting posts for come on a chest. A name which I found amazingly hilarious, by the way. Well, apparently he found it immature. But he found that name amazingly hilarious. But the spam was too much. He would flood guild chat with it. So I whisper Paulson, chill, calm it down a bit, all right? A little bit of spam. To which he doubles his efforts, doesn't reply to me, and begins spamming twofold. 2 people, one of my guys and a random, G-quit during that particular spam fest. And here it comes. Now here is where I make my first move to stop someone from flooding our guild chat without actually kicking him. Because I would be accused of abusing my power if I just kicked him. I made a rank that's G-chat muted and demoted him to it. He sat in it for about 20 minutes. But during this time, Adonis promotes him back to his member rank. And what does our boy Paulson do? The spam immediately starts. Immediately starts. What am I to do? How do I fix this situation? What would the chat do? What would you do? I felt like I only had one option. I removed the promoting powers from the officer rank. And I demote Paulson again. Paulson's not even a raider, right? He's scum. He's worthless. Social rank. Come on. Who cares, right? Whatever. Not even got that quality raider badge next to his name. Scum of the earth. Basically, slime. Look at him. Slime. Social slime. Now, as the author of the last story said, that I demoted Adonis and Paulson, but that's not true at all. I only demoted Paulson. As a side note, we constantly got to hear the story of how Adonis accidentally sent Paulson a dick pic. And how Paulson replied with a picture of his butthole. That's quality bants, actually. That's a quality bants. Ah, shit. Oh, no, come on. I think that's quality. That's 10 out of 10 bants. Up the ante. Hey, if you're going to start the banter, be prepared to go the whole way. All right? Let's turn it up. Let's turn it up a bit. I'm not sure why them two were so proud of that story, but it was definitely hilarious, albeit a little bit disturbing. I think it's fine. I think that's a quality bit of bants. They had them, I'll tell you all now, them two had their funny moments. Adonis then G quits. We've lost an officer. Which I knew was just for show, as he'd be back in later. But I knew that at this point, we're fucked. We're utterly fucked. Popescu and Adonis encouraged the spamming, and were okay with Paulson essentially trolling the whole G-chat so heavily that it had resulted already in 2 people quitting the guild. So during the next couple of days, Popescu was out of town or unable to be on WoW much, so I communicated with him in Discord direct messages one night that things in the guild were getting a bit rough. When he came back, I informed him one morning that I was going to be leaving the guild with the guys I came with and the guys I had recruited. Now, keep in mind, I recruited heavily. I posted on the WoW forums. I sorted WoW progress, recruiting for homeless raiders. I spoke to at least 1 or 2 new people each day during our time together in order to recruit for this guild. I put in a lot of work to get our roster filled, eventually hitting a solid 26-player roster before it all fell apart. So when I left, I went back to my guild. Everyone who came with me originally rejoined. Most of the people I recruited also came with. Now, to set the story straight. The guild message of the day that I set before leaving stated that I was leaving the guild with the people I came with, and if any of the recruits wanted to come, they could. Yes, I wanted the roster I had made to remain. I did in fact speak with the author of the last story as well, who admitted to me that they weren't sure. They weren't sure about any Mungry, and he would let me know. Great. The day after I left, I got my guys back in my guild and several of the recruits, giving us a stronger roster still. I spoke with somebody. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be. Let's say a Gronthar. I spoke with a Gronthar who asked me what had happened. A Gronthar was a trial who was originally in any Mungry. I told him he's welcome to come to our guild if he wants. He asked for a guild invite. At this point, I had poached no one but a Gronthar. Nobody. And I didn't pressure him or even talk bad about any Mungry in order to coerce him. As a matter of fact, I hadn't spoken badly about Popescu or their guild at all. I wanted this to be smooth, and I didn't want to burn a bridge with Popescu. I liked Popescu. So there it was. My guild had a strong roster and BFA went on. So 3 weeks or so had passed and I hadn't even thought of those guys. They're not even in my head. I was focused on getting our team ready, studying Uldir fights, building ERT notes, recruiting, etc. Around this time, I started getting whispers from the 16-year-old from the last story. He kept asking if his app got accepted. So I checked the Discord app channel, and sure enough, it was Paulson, and he had put in about 3 troll apps where he was claiming to be a duck. I remember that. Do you remember when he was making the apps where he was a fucking duck and a goat? Top quality. That's fucking funny. And this is when I kind of got frustrated. Why? That's really funny. Admittedly, I was frustrated by this. At first, I kept it civil. I messaged Popescu and asked him if he could handle this situation. I guess I am weird, but I didn't think that guild masters backed raiders who harassed other guilds and their members. It's not harassment. It's funny. It's a duck app. Just press delete. No big deal, dude. Ban his account or his IP or something. You're that ass. It's not harassment. Fuck off, man. Harassment. Handle this situation. Take it a bit too seriously, I think. That might be what it is. Okay. I must be a bad guy for thinking that way. But hey, each to their own. Popescu chalked it up to being in good fun. I decided... Escalation. I decided to try my hand at revealing their methods to people I had spoken with before who had expressed doubt. The author of the last story, for one. I messaged them and told him what was going on with the troll apps. He proceeded to tell me I had poached their entire guild from them and that I was some sort of arsehole. I explained I had only poached a Gronthar and I never pressured him. I just put out the welcome mat, and if he wanted to come, he could come. The author got shitty some more, as I'm sure you've read the screenshots. I have. Now, I will admit, I definitely lost my cool from this point. In my mind, I had done everything I could to build these guys a raid team and not impose my will on them when I was in their guild. From my perspective, I had been kicking ass to try and make things work, and in the end, Adonis had fed them spoonfuls of shit about what had happened, apparently even telling them that I had demoted Adonis, which I had not. Hearing you recount this on a video really answered some questions about what information had been relayed to their guild about me and this entire debacle. Well, everything escalated quickly from there. It got into name-calling matches. I even had whispers from the Warlock recruit to warn him of the drama, which, so you admit you did contact one of their trials to warn him of the drama. As a note here, I never asked him to join my guild. I had already talked with that trial weeks prior, and he was flaky to say the least. Apparently he's a guild hopper who gained mythic kills in past tiers by going from guild to guild, so I had no intention of bringing him to ours. Hell, I had the guy on battle tag from when I added him for the recruitment, but I was frustrated and I wanted to do some damage. Yes, I did make a forum post on the realm. This was stupid because it just got to be suspended for 3 days on the forums like a dumbass. I lost it at the end, but up until that point, it just built up from frustration of having done what I could for the guild. To sum up, before my audience and me pass judgment. Note 1. I did mention, oh yeah, I remember this. I did mention Popescu's brother, who Popescu had admitted to being a mooch in his house. He is not taking care of him so much as he's allowing him to be a piece of shit who won't work and live off him. Note number 2. About the girlfriend, our author's girlfriend. That was my favorite. That guy whined to us for 3 days about how his gamer girlfriend had kicked him out and made him move 800 miles back home. I loved to push that button against him. Number 3. Your author's current roommate, the Holy Paladin, when we were merged, he had expressed interest in healing for us. He's a very nice and intelligent guy. I liked him a lot and was happy to invest in him. I spent about 90,000 gold on a Tides trinket at the beginning for him. Nothing big there, but I was trying to be helpful and I got called weird when I messaged him about his opinion. Another note. I thought Come on a Chest was hilarious. I just didn't like Paulson spamming G-chat. Lally is the computer science doctorate, and he never called that guy dog shit for trying to be a programmer. Everyone in the guild hated us, but when IG quit, everyone essentially left with us except maybe 6 people they originally had. And our final note, reread the screenshot. I didn't steal Goblin Gliders. I left 100 Goblin Gliders in the guild bank when I left and didn't bother to retrieve them first because who fucking cares? I really hope I covered everything. Well, we have some real drama here. We have 2 sides of a story. In the middle of it somewhere is some truth. Each side trying to make themselves seem like the perfect hero. Difficult, conundrous, confusing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you must don your powdered wigs. I will raise the gavel. And we will decide, we will pass judgment. Bring them on Discord. I don't think I want to sit there. Okay. Drama court. Drama court. First dude was better. I think what we have here is a failure of personalities. A wall and an impasse. It seems to me like story number 1 and the people involved there, the members of Any Mungry, were pretty much after a casual raiding guild. Yet you wanted to build something very organized, pretty serious, pretty... You were willing to make a lot of sacrifices very quickly. Like just turning your friends away as quickly as possible in the name of progression and all that kind of stuff. And basically, both of you made a lot of mistakes. The guild chat spam was probably really annoying and should have been dealt with. But demoting officers never ends well. Ever. Ever. I don't think it's a failure to communicate. I think communication was trying. But you're both communicating because you want different things. I pass judgment on this. Mergers are shit. Don't bother with it. There you go. That is my judgment on this situation. That is my judgment. Guilty. Both of you are guilty. Guilty as charged. Guild mergers are dog shit. Don't bother. It's a waste of time. Fuck it. And there you go. Indeed. I pass judgment on guild mergers as a whole as being very problematic because too many heads in charge, you both want different things, is difficult. To say the least. It can work. There are always going to be outliers, but generally speaking, it sucks. Generally speaking. Take them away, officers. Judgment. Case closed. Case closed on that one. Ah, yes. I did that completely wrong, didn't I? Yeah, buddy. No problem. Okay. Bork, bork. Okay. Let's finish up with a nice newbie story. I think we've done well today. I don't know if we need a name yet. Hold on. Let's have a newbie story. Whew. Ooh. I think it would safe to say. So Spincar has just brought up. Method and Rapid Eye Movement coming together. Very likely, both of those guilds had extremely similar goals. Like extremely similar. Beyond what Trade Chat is going to put together. I think that's fair to say, right? I think that is fair to say that the likelihood is the World First Guild and Rapid Eye Movement were like, what, World 13th or something? Likelihood is they have extremely similar goals in mind, similar play styles, similar things. It's likely to work out a bit better. I think so. I think that's a good example of where two guilds are very likely to have similar. 6. There you go. World 6 ideas of what they want to do. Let's have a newbie story. Hello, Preacher. I'm writing in with a newbie story I hope you and your audience will find entertaining. I'd love to tell you that this story is about a friend of mine or some chucklehead I grouped with once. +1 for chucklehead, by the way. But with a heavy heart, I have to tell you, this is a story about me. I began playing WoW way back in 2005. This was back in the age before things like Wowhead, WoWWiki. This was also kind of pre-Thoughtbot. When did what Thoughtbot come into existence? I thought it was started in beta. Am I wrong there? Maybe. YouTube was in its infancy. Oh, it was Google Video, dude. Google Video was popping. And the types of guides that we find so often there today were not as readily available. I'd love to point to the absence of these tools as an explanation for my actions. Alakazam? Oh, man. Yeah, Alakazam. But there is no excuse for the complete buffoonery.
Boys, no. Come back.
And Daddy's working.
Come on.
I'll come and play with you in a minute. Sorry, buddy. 5 more minutes.
Come on.
Groaning at me. I got groaned at. Oh, all right, we're going. There is no excuse for the complete buffoonery I displayed in my early days of World of Warcraft. I made a gnome warrior, like a man. And as an experienced gamer, I knew that my heavy melee character would be very reliant on armor rating. And with that knowledge in hand, I prioritized armor above all else. I would spend every copper I could farm and scrape together to get white vendor gear to the highest armor numbers I could, often going out and farming copper in order to buy the next piece of white vendor armor I could find. Solid. I would often disregard green quest rewards for gear for white vendor gear because it had a higher armor rating. Smart. Green probably green's it's for pussies, right? What else would green mean? You know what I mean? I played this way all the way into the early level 20s when I was invited to my first dungeon run. A misguided mage had done a who search in Red Ridge Mountains and messaged me, a warrior, looking for a tank for the Dead Mines. I had come to Lakeshore in search of training in bows, as I had been disappointed that I could only train in guns in Ironforge. Why would you want a bow over a gun as a warrior? What the fuck? You insane? Why would you do that? Oh, I've only got guns. What a pisser. What a pisser. I had long had a quest in my log for the dead mines, but I didn't know what a dead mine was. Certainly not how to get there. So when asked if I'd like to come and tank for the run, I figured this was my chance to get this quest done, and instantly said, sure. I had no idea where I was going, why I needed to be grouped to do it in the first place, or what the guy meant by tank. But very excitedly, I got to join 4 other players and get my quest done. It was all very exciting. When the group found me, they must have been initially optimistic, as I had come prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Our tank has arrived in the dead mines, and you're not going to believe this, vanilla players. He was wearing a sword and a shield. It's a pretty big deal. That was a pretty good sign, if I'm being honest. That's a pretty good sign. All right, now we're talking. Now, what they didn't know, of course, what they didn't know is that I only ever had a sword and a shield, as I didn't know you could use anything else. I do not know if any of them bothered to inspect me, but no one commentated on the fact that I was totally decked out in white vendor gear. If they hadn't taken the precaution of inspecting me, they soon wished they would have. As we started pulling mobs, it must have become immediately clear to them that something here isn't quite right. Something's off. Passive-aggressive comments were progressed into open complaints. I don't remember much of it, but I remember this is the first time I ever saw the word scrub. Scrub. What does that mean? Scrub. This guy is a scrub. Maybe it's a compliment. Maybe. Maybe this is a good thing. Who knows, right? Fucking scrub. Eventually, it turned into open accusations as it became apparent that I was making no effort at all to manage threat or control mobs. I would just run around and wait for the rage to hit heroic strike. I was having a hell of a time building rage with all the mobs hitting other people. I actually found it at the time annoying. I got less rage in here than I do in the open world. I wish these guys would hit me so I could get some more rage. That's what happens when I'm leveling. It's much easier. This is really boring. I'm not getting any rage. Good times. Finally, after several wipes on trash, and still nowhere near the first boss, the mage seemed to realize that I needed maybe some guidance. So a whisper appears. The pink text lights up. Have you ever done this before? Thick-headed and as oblivious as I was, I defensively responded that I'd been playing this game for ages and knew exactly what I was doing. Keep your fucking comments to yourself, mage. Yeah? Am I asking you how to mage? Am I telling you how to mage? Yeah? Piss off. Piss off. Yeah? Don't whisper me again. Know your fucking role. Truthfully, at this point, I absolutely had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't realize that I was in something called an instance. And that I'd be doing anything different from anywhere else in the game. It is a testament to this mage's character, however, that he remained calm and politely suggested that I should use taunt on the monsters to keep them off other players. I remember I replied, taunt ? Warriors don't have taunt. You see, the white vendor gear I was buying was very expensive. It took all my money to keep up with all the new vendors I would find. And I could never manage to have more than 1 or 2 silver to myself at any given time. So as I leveled, I had to triage certain abilities to save money for vendor gear. It's important. As my only experience in the game to this point had been solo questing, anything that had to do with getting enemies to attack you seemed totally pointless to me. Enemies were already attacking me. He said I should go and buy Taunt. My only response to this, Taunt is dumb. I was immediately and deservedly kicked from the group. And just in case anyone is thinking anything about my teammates being abrupt or rude for the immediate kick, or perhaps even toxic, I think we should recap what I was for the sake of perspective. I was a level 24 warrior, totally decked out in Vendor White gear with a Vendor White sword and a Vendor White shield. I had no defensive stance abilities. I was extremely confident that this is the correct way that you play World of Warcraft, and particular warriors. Those players were saints for putting up with me for as long as they did. As a little epilogue to this tale, I would eventually re-roll as a Night Elf priest. I would find success as a priest, learn a ton about the game, eventually joining a progression raid group and a GM grind team. However, I still had plenty to learn in my days in Teldrassil, RIP F. And when a Night Elf hunter asked in Teldrassil general chat, where do you train guns? I quickly replied, you can't. See, as I previously mentioned, I had searched far and wide through Ironforge and low-level quest areas on my gnome warrior for someone who would train me in bows and never found anyone. So I had come to the conclusion that gnomes must not be able to use bows, and since dwarves started in the same area, they probably couldn't either. From there, it made sense to me that humans and night elves must be able to use bows as ranged weapons, and dwarves and gnomes could only use guns. Once again, the person I was talking to was extremely polite and patient, and sent me a whisper saying that night elves could in fact use guns. He had seen it before. However, I was steadfast. Called him a noob and a scrub. Learned a new word today, Mum. I told him that's not how the game works. Hey, who are you talking to? Shut your mouth, yeah? Shut your mouth. Let me educate you, okay? That's not how the game works, all right? I told him you can lie if you want, but I don't give a shit. And I put that player on ignore for trying to twist me. Thanks, Feature. Keep up the good work. Oh, yes. The overconfidence. I love it, the overconfidence. It's the best thing you can have in WoW, is to know nothing and be super confident about the stuff that you think you know. It's the best thing you can do. Go and tell people how best to do Mythic Plus. Go on, because you saw it on a stream once. Go forth, do well. Ladies and gents, that does bring us to the end of drama time. I'm going to go and play with my boys, and then I'll be working tonight. Thank you for a tremendous week. Thank you for a really good week. I feel much better. You guys have been at 10 out of 10 this week. Absolutely awesome. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. All right? Have a great weekend. Do something cool with your weekend. It's important. It's your free time. Go and do something good. All right? Love you all. Bye-bye, team. Where's my button? Ta-da!